Hello everyone, I'm Rebel Connoisseur and welcome to the review of the 5th episode of the 7th season of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, known as Fluttershy Leans In. This was a pretty good episode, and before I say my review, again, I know you've seen the video probably, but I apologize that there's been no reaction. Just don't have the time for it this weekend. I apologize. Nonetheless, this was a really good, progressive, and much needed episode. It was a episode that really amplified and just hit the nail on the head with Fluttershy's confidence, and I personally loved it. I, again, know that I'm a positive person, so I'm going to point out some of the flaws, and I'll admit that this episode was a bit slow-paced from my opinion, and it could be because I didn't react to it. Maybe reacting makes it seem faster, but it felt slower than other episodes. It also felt dragged on with the scenes such as when all three construction workers were, explaining what they wanted to do. I don't know why, but that was just how I felt. The episode begins basically with Fluttershy watching Angel do parkour, and, personally, again, the fact that the show says parkour was a little awkward, but at the same time cool, because it's like, Fluttershy's hip with the cool kids. But it was very silly, and I sort of liked watching Angel do all those things, and I may or may not have secretly enjoyed seeing Angel hurt his foot. No, I'm kidding. But in all honesty, it was what set the story up, and basically Fluttershy takes Angel to Dr. Fauna, who is a pet doctor, and it seems that Dr. Fauna's place is very crowded. I think that the bear was very excessive because we knew that the place was crowded from literally when the door opened. I think that it was just a bit too much. I didn't see it as much silly as I did an annoyance. Obviously, it was supposed to have a comedic effect, but it really didn't have that effect with me. Nonetheless, Fluttershy feeling confident enough to even suggest that she wants to help and do this was a great start. The one thing that I want to ask, and I have a feeling that I'm going to ask this more in this season than past, I don't know why, but why couldn't a unicorn have levitated the animals out of the house if they really were healed, and why couldn't a strong pony maybe do it just for, unicorn is OP and can do everything's sake? That's another minor complaint. Nonetheless, I absolutely loved how Fluttershy was sticking up throughout. You could see within each scene with Fluttershy and the respective worker that Fluttershy basically said something along the lines of, I appreciate your input, but I feel that mine is more expert in this field. I feel that my idea is more appropriate. Now, I think that people in this episode are going to say something along the lines of, well, Fluttershy might know animals and might know what animals need, but workers do have to build under certain limitations and restrictions, and they need to make something stable. Obviously, this is the show. They can bend the rules a little, but they're playing by modern society's rules here. I think that the way in which they organized everything at the end and built the sanctuary successfully shows that in real-world application, you could make it like this. And first off, animals don't care about looks as much as they do comfort. So I understand the want of having a nice looking sanctuary, but having one that actually is comfortable, easy to access, easy to come in and out of, and like Fluttershy said, sort of melts from the forest into the sanctuary and out of the forest again when they want to leave, is great. But the biggest problem with having a sanctuary like this is that if this one small section of the forest is better than every other part, why would they want to leave? It's just like Dr. Fauna's room, except expanded. Now, that was the idea, is if we have a big, basically Dr. Fauna's room, then the animals can go there instead. But who knows? It might get overpopulated. I don't think that this is ever going to be addressed again. I don't know if this sanctuary will ever be revisited, and I don't think they were ever going to see the three other construction workers again. But I'm really glad that they brought Daddy McCult into this, because that just shows really good continuity, and it shows that there must have been some communication of Fluttershy and Daddy McCult throughout the last time we saw him and now, for them to, be so close and, in touch. I also really liked the scene with Fluttershy being very direct but harsh, but at the same time sweet and accepting with the construction workers as she let them go. That was the biggest confidence strike that we've ever really gotten. You know, throughout the entire episode, we've seen her, again, title drop, putting her hook down. But she did it in her own manner. She wasn't brute and physical about it. She raised her voice because that's what works. You don't have to push and shove as much as you should, raise your voice. Be more direct. Be less sugarcoating. There was not a single time in this episode where Fluttershy really seemed submissive. There was a point where it was trying to trick us, where Fluttershy was basically stuttering and then said, no, I'm going to say what's on my mind now, and I'm not going to give in. And that shows amazing determination and confidence that I absolutely appreciated. I would go as far as to say this episode is a 9.5 out of 10 because the complaints that I have are very minor and the hypotheticals as well. So I really do think this was a good episode. If I had to say one thing that could be included rather than excluded, it would probably be the main six being involved with the construction to begin with. I understand how the separate construction workers had to really do things on their own and had their own team of workers, as it seemed. But the main six helping should have been something that Fluttershy would have asked them to do throughout, not until the end. The main six gave the idea of the three construction workers and being proud of Fluttershy for taking this initiative, but they could have stayed in the episode rather than left to do their own thing and then come back at the end. Again, minor. I love this episode, and I hope you did too, so please share your thoughts below. I am the Connoisseur. I thank you for your time, and if you want to stay up to date on the reviews and the reaction highlights in the future and the synopsises, please subscribe. I'd like to quickly say I apologize for this background. I'm gonna do this right now. So I'm at my mom's house, and I last time used this as a backdrop, and I really used it for the sun, but I really just wanted to record this now. I don't know. It's not a big deal. It's just a piece of freaking cardboard. I'm not fancy. I get the point across, but I don't know. Little behind the scenes action. Here. I have this then to take care of too. So here, have a little bit of this. Hello. Wow. I love you too. You stink. Wow. He loves me.